Hello gang, and welcome to Displaying Model Behavior with a bit of a laid-back, just one-item type episode, because honestly, I think we've all got a little bit of that San Diego Comic-Con hangover, so let's ease our way back into the regular toy news with just one figure that I thought deserved a video all of its own, because it's not just the toy. It's what it tells us about the decisions that I've made regarding my opinion on certain things and how maybe I might have to eat a little bit of humble pie. Because I'm talking about Mess Toys, aka CT Toys, aka the company that I've been saying, well, they just rip off Mafex and Revoltech. They don't make anything of their own. And now they've kind of made something a bit more of their own, and I really like it. So I think I might want to buy it. So let's talk about it. It's the Superior Spider-Man from Mess Toys, aka CT Toys, aka the company that I said that I would never buy anything from, that have actually done something that I think is actually pretty darn good. I was starting to waver on my stance about Mess Toys over the last couple of weeks and months, where I've seen people reporting back to me that, hey, these are actually really well made, surprisingly so. And I haven't been given a big bag of money, even though that would have been quite nice, actually. And CT Toys have messaged me, and they're like, hey, do you want to, like, promote our stuff? And I was like, no, but I am starting to like it a bit more. Now I'm kind of torn. But you know what? A cool figure is a cool figure, and a cool character is, well, that's cool too. There's just a lot of cool stuff in this video, because I'm talking about the Superior Spider-Man, who is also, of course, for those of you who have read the comics will know, Dr. Otto Octavius's mind in the body of Peter Parker, and it was one of the coolest ongoing storylines that Spider-Man's had over the last, geez, it pains me to say it was about a decade ago, actually, that this story happened, if not more than that. I think it was like 2012, 2013 that we had the Superior Spider-Man arc, but it was so great. Dr. Octopus was dying because, in quite a nice comic book sort of bit of storytelling, his body was finally giving up after taking years of abuse from various superheroes. It's like, yeah, the human body can only get pinky flicked by the Hulk so many times until it just gives up on you. So before he died, he transferred his mind into that of Peter Parker's, and Peter Parker's into his dying body, and then Peter died on his behalf, but not before he could instill his sense of power and responsibility that was in his memories that Doc Ock took on.
Everybody got that?
It was a lot of a story, but ultimately we got the Superior Spider-Man, where, guided by Peter Parker's sense of morality, Doc Ock swore that he was going to renounce his villainous ways and become a superior version of Spider-Man. And it was a great time. And also it was so much fun to see various villains and heroes thinking that this was the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and then him convincing them very quickly that he was not so friendly anymore. It was cool. And it was great to see a villain get the one-up on villains using villainous tactics. He also blackmailed the mayor of New York, who was J. Jonah Jameson at the time. He got a whole spider island with a goon squad and mechs, and it was a heady time to be a Spider-Man fan. Now we've got a decent action figure to represent this, but a lot of you might say, well, we already did, Dave. We had the Marvel Legend. And yeah, I'd actually say that was pretty good. They did a nice job with that Marvel Legend. But CT Toys, Mess Toys, whatever you want to call them, they have gone one step beyond, because they are taking that Revoltech body. And a lot of people are not huge fans of that. Me personally, I kind of dig it, because Revoltech figures are kind of like Rubik's Cubes. You can't just move them the way that you want to move them like you would a Marvel Legend. You kind of have to tessellate them and move them in certain ways and find the right combination to get them to pose the way you want. For some people, that might sound like a pain. To me personally, I actually really like that. It adds another element to the action figure itself. So seeing just the still photos, they look gorgeous, but I'll be the first to admit that with this design, there are a few caveats as well. He has kind of like dumbbell hinges on his shoulders, so if you pose his arms the wrong way, they don't look great. This is something you certainly want to angle and view from very selective perspectives, but when you get those perspectives, oof, oh, it looks good, man. It looks real sweet. Similarly, he'll have these spikes sticking up from his kneecaps when you bend his knees, which is definitely, it's not aesthetically great, but at the same time, your eyes can kind of like visually fudge it into the look of the character. It just kind of works. You don't see it after a while. Or at least that's in my case. If in your case, on the other hand, you do see it and it's all that you can look at, well, you're probably not going to like it. But I think that not only the figure itself, but the additions you get with it, that's what's starting to separate Mess Toys from just copying other brands to actually bringing their own elements to the table. You've got 3 different heads by the looks of things here, and they all look uniquely good in their own regard. The basic Spider-Man head has the wonderful black lenses, which just look really cool on Superior Spider-Man. When he did his own costume, that quickly became my second favorite Spider-Man costume after Sensational, because it harkens back to classic Peter Parker, but just looks a bit meaner. Also, apparently it is based slightly off of the Alex Ross design that Alex Ross used for the Sam Raimi movie, which was never actually used in the movie, but it was always kept on file for someone to use eventually, and it looks like it was done so with Superior Spider-Man. Plus, he's got the uneven web design, which I really, really like as well. Sometimes people will forget that, but his webs aren't uniform like Peter Parker's. They're more kind of haphazard and a little bit chaotic looking, and I really, really dig that. Then, of course, he's got the gauntlets, which the Marvel Legend has as well. Everything I'm listing, the Marvel Legend had too. They've just done it in slightly different ways. But the gauntlets, they look real nice. But then if we glance over at the full set of accessories here, the amount of hands, fantastic. You've got the kind of scratching, clawing ones. You got the splayed out. You got the wall crawling. You got a whole bunch. You're kind of spoiled for choice. So that with the stand as well, a stand always adds a little bit of extra value to any kind of product. Plus, when I'm speaking about value, that takes me to the price as well, which, judging by other CT Toys and Mess Toys releases, you're probably going to be looking at about $30, give or take. And it's fair to say that the price of Marvel Legends now is pretty steep.
Steep? It's effing vertical.
So having a price point like that for a figure with this much articulation and all of these accessories as well, it goes a long way to giving it that extra value. So speaking of the other accessories, of course, you've got his Waldoes. I wondered a while ago, I wondered aloud, putting it out to the universe, why they're called Waldoes, where that word came from. And apparently the word Waldo actually is what is called something that picks things up. So that makes perfect sense for these Waldoes. And they look mean. They've got the actual kind of sharper spikes on them, like a spider would do. They look a lot gnarlier than the Marvel Legend one, which I kind of dig. Although honestly, it's an aesthetic thing. You know, you might prefer the other ones. That was something that was always quite fun about Superior Spider-Man, was he would look different depending on how different artists chose to draw those legs. Then he's got the Spider-Bot as well. That's really fun. They really utilize those a lot, even in quite a creepy, kind of stalkery kind of way, the way that he would use them to observe and spy on people. Then you got the 2 other heads as well, which again, it's Mess Toys actually bringing something new to the table. First of all, you've got the half pulled up mask. That's a look I always like for Spider-Man. We see him do that so many times, whether he's Peter Parker or Otto Octavius. It's nice to see that realized. I mean, we've not had that for a Marvel Legend since Pizza Spider-Man, I want to say. I think was the last time we had a halfway pulled up mask. And then we got the unmasked Peter Parker head, which I suppose actually, to be fair, he didn't take the name Elliot Tolliver until he came back in a different cloned body after the clone conspiracy. So this is arguably a Peter Parker, but actually there's nothing to date this figure. So you can decide whether or not that's a Peter Parker head or a clone body Doc Ock handsome head. It's entirely up to you, but it looks decent. It's kind of a blank sort of expression, but you know, it looks like it's got some life to it. So bottom line, the figure looks real good. The metallic paint on the legs as well, with the backpack too. It's got everything that I would want to see in, I was trying to say, sensational, spectacular, superior. There you go. In a Superior Spider-Man. So I'm torn about wanting to get it, but I think I do. I think I'm willing to say that maybe I was too quick to judge the Mess Toys sort of brand or business model, or you know, is it a case that actually no, I was right, but they've made a product that I want, so therefore I'm willing to acquiesce to buying one. Dom, did I use the word acquiesce properly? Not even close. All right, I'll keep on persisting with that one. But yeah, so guys, let me know what you think. And also let me know what you think about this video where I'm just talking about one thing, but I kind of like just talking about individual topics sometimes. It's fun to go on more of a deep dive. Also, if you haven't read Superior Spider-Man, then oh my goodness, if you even have a passing interest in Spider-Man. I would dare say it's still definitely the best Spider-Man work that's come out over the last decade. And really, it's only the current run that might be giving it a run for its money. But hey, we're only a few issues into that. Also, you're probably wondering this ages ago, but if you want to pick up these mess toys, I know that they are available on AliExpress. Probably a few other places as well, but you might have to have a little dig around. I know I always see them on AliExpress, normally going for that $30 price point. So yeah, guys, what's your take on mess toys and the superior Spider-Man? Comment below, let me know. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.